Hey, this is Stephen Williams, founder and president of the CreditRepairShop.com, and in today's video, we're going to talk about the debt that is being released into the market. There's over, let me turn this off real quick. We got some background noise. Um, so right now, there's over, what we got 25 and 16, so almost 40. We got 40 million some dollars in bad debt that's being mixed credit cards, mixed national uh, bank credit cards being released. So the first one that we're going to talk about is a mixed batch of credit cards, 25 million in 25,455,000, 17,162 accounts. Uh, Average charge-off date is from 2000. Can you believe it? More than 20 years ago, in summer, and it says 2000 to 2011. I mean, we're talking about 9 years minimum and 20 years maximum. This is definitely past statute of limitations, and I'm going to tell you what to do about that later in this video. Average balance $1,483. They're selling this whole amount for $17,000, and this debt. I mean, this debt is mostly legally uncollectible in most states, except for if you go with the 10-year in that's in a few states. Uh, there's only 3 states that this would ever be collectible in, and the max in one state is 15 years. Um, okay, so let's go to the next one here. We got another portfolio, mixed credit cards, 16.2 million dollars, 11,000 accounts. Average charge-off date is 2004. So this is past statute of limitations for all 50 states. None of this debt is could be legally collectible unless someone makes a mistake. And I'm going to tell you what that mistake could be, the traps that they could put you in to uh, make you reset this debt and make them be able to collect it. Um, the average balance $1,475. They're selling it for $4,000 and some change. Now, so first let's talk about the ways that they try to trap people or get you to pay a debt that you don't have to pay. Is that they'll call you. Usually with this type of debt, I've seen where they will call you and they will first try to put a feeler out to see if you're that person. Because remember in my last video, I talked about the skip tracing, but the skip tracing still does not give them all of the information to allow them to send that information to you in the mail, because it is illegal for them to send a bill like that, or even technically, if you think that that's a bill and that they trap you into thinking that that's a bill, that they've just committed wire fraud. So what they try to do first is they do the skip tracing, and once they have a good idea that it could potentially be you, they're going to give a call. And then once that call is somehow they feel good that that call is that person is you, then they'll send out the demand letter for the debt. And then immediately, what you should do is you should never call them if you get that letter. Now, if they call you, you could just say, I don't know what you're talking about, send it to me in writing. And if they don't have your address and all that stuff, too bad. That means that they don't have all the information. But let's just say that you receive that information. They believe that you are the person who owes that debt and they feel confident enough to send you a demand letter. First thing you need to do is you need to check the statute of limitations for your state. Because what they'll try to do is they'll try to say, this is a small bill like this one right here. This individual got one, and they sent them this debt collection for total $10,000, and they offered to settle these accounts for $5,800. Now, it could be true that these accounts were theirs, but they have nothing listed on here about how old these debts are. The customer knew that they had them before, but they didn't know the rules and the laws when it comes to legally being able to collect your debt. So the number one thing that you should do first when you get that demand letter is check your state statute for statute of limitations. You can also go to my website, thecreditrepairshop.com, and check the state statute of limitations for your for collecting debt. And credit card debt is under a different category. And if you look on my website, I have 4 columns. Credit card debt will be in that fourth column. In some states, you can have regular debts, like if you owe a business or someone in your that's a business owner in your state. That statute of limitations could be a little bit longer than it could be for something that's a national account like a credit card or a finance company. So you need to pay attention to what's in that fourth column when you look at on my website, and you should look and see if it's a debt that's from like a local company, or is it something from a national bank or a finance company. That would be everything in that fourth column. If it's past the statute of limitations to legally collect, now what makes that what makes a debt past legal statute of limitations is if you have not paid anything towards it after the charge off date, not one penny. So from that charge off date, that's when the statute of limitations clock starts to run. If it has not passed that date, then it can legally be collected. But because a debt collector purchased a debt, the next thing that you should do is you should do what's called a complete full debt validation on the debt. They have to prove everything about you uh, owing that debt, and they have to also disclose that they purchased the debt. They can't pretend like on this one here. They try to pretend like they're collecting it for the original creditor, but that's not actually, I don't want to say it's not legal for them to do it, but they're kind of, you know, making you think that someone else is coming after you when it's truly them coming after you for the debt. So when you do a full debt validation, you make them disclose that, and they won't lie on that. They will either not come after you, or they'll disclose and give you all of the information that you request. Now, you have to do that the right way, or they're not going to pay attention to it. So that's why I want to give you 2 free letters. The link is below this video. The first one is if you find that the statute of limitations is past the date that they can legally collect, you use that letter. That will most likely make them go away. They might try to sell it off to someone else. Like you can see that these debts were sold several times because there's just no way that a debt that was from 2000 hasn't been sold and recycled. So they might sell it again, but you use that document that you got from the other debt collector to the new one, and you trap them, and you can end up getting a $1,000 settlement easily by having that paper trail. So I'm giving you 2 letters. The first one is if you find that the debt is past legal statute of limitations. And if you don't have access to your credit reports and you need to get a paid monitoring service to get this information, because it won't be in the comment section from those free credit report places. So you need the one that I would suggest is the one that we refer people to. Go to the number 3scores.com. The number 3scores.com. Get your credit reports. It will be well worth it to find out if it's past legal statute of limitations by looking at the original charge off date. It may even say that it's sold on there too. So now, if it's not past legal statute of limitations, I'm providing you also with that same link below. Get the debt validation letter, because if you send it to them the right way, it could scare them into not wanting to move forward on trying to collect from you on that debt. This is very important. Like, this is like so many things could be stopped if you just took a little bit of time to just do that. Because these companies know that if they can get you emotional, get you scared, that they will get you to make some type of payment, threaten you with a garnishment or whatever, and then you're resetting that whole statute of limitations over again. All right, I want to move over to something else that happened yesterday. We had a Santander customer that's dealing with Santander. Santander gave them a call and asked them. Now, we wasn't on the phone, but this is what she said. She said that Santander, someone from Santander, called her and said, how much do you think that you should get from the settlement for your claim? Like they asked her that question, and I thought I said, "Are you sure that they asked you that?" And she said to my rep, I didn't get to talk directly to her, that yes, someone from there called and said, "How much do you think that you should get from the Attorney General settlement?" And so I thought that that was strange. But other people have been reporting that the information has been getting removed. We've had to go start pushing more towards doing with the attorney letter, or if people are doing the letter on their own, we've said you need to go and file a complaint with the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau, because everything is being slowed down with the mail. Everything is being slowed down with COVID on the credit reporting companies working at full steam. So you have to try all these different avenues to try to get the result that you want. And that takes me into my final thing that I'm going to talk about is that uh, last month when we had started to feel that these things were happening, actually around August, I knew something was wrong because results were just taking so long. And then some people would get quick results, some people would get slow results, but and stuff wasn't even being noted on their monitoring service that it's being disputed, which is a violation in itself. But there was a waiver given to the credit reporting agencies, and they are taking full advantage of it because they have stated that they are working at half staff in their mailroom, but they're getting the same amount of mail. So they want a waiver on that. They're working half staff in their processing department, so they want to get a waiver on that. When you stack the waiver that they get there, each department gets a waiver. So you could potentially potentially have a 90-day window or potentially a 120-day window on them processing. And that is according to the legal waiver, because the waiver is not just for them to get the mail open. The waiver is for the mail department, and then there's another waiver for the process department. And then they have stated that it's only going to be a courtesy to mail people the results. That is from them. That is not from me. That is not from anybody else. And if you go to the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau, they posted an article saying that they were giving them the waiver and that there's nothing no one else can do about it. Over 19,000 complaints have been put in, and a list, including my company, has signed on to get that waiver taken down because we feel that they're just taking full advantage of the situation. But we have started coming at it from the other end. We don't just sit there and let things happen to us, and we've been getting quicker results by doing another process where we also continue with that process, but we've went directly to the furnishers. When you go directly with the furnishers, a lot of things a lot of wheels start to turn, because if there's going to be potential for having to do a settlement, you are actually making that process happen a lot faster. And sometimes customers are not ready for that. That's why they try to have companies just do things from the bureau. And if they don't respond, that's what they're hoping with. But we are not going to sit that way. I had instructed my team to start going at the furnishers. And what we've been seeing is that when the furnishers have actually been moving faster to remove information off of people's credit reports. So I want to uh, let you go to below here has the links for the letters that I talked about, statute of limitations, debt validation. Also, if you haven't subscribed to my channels, please subscribe to it. If you need to get help with your credit, go to thecreditrepairshop.com. Please post your comments and please like this video. Thank you. And until next time, this is Stephen Williams. founder and president of the creditrepairshop.com.